last few weeks. And in that, we have been discussing things that get in the way of our why. And, I was thinking to myself, why are we focusing on things that get in the way of our why? Why not just focus on our why? And then I was thinking about it. We know what we want. If we buy a house, we want to pay it off. If we get married, we want it to be successful. Anything that we attempt to do, we want to be good at it. So it's not the desire of whether or not we want the best for ourselves, it's what gets in our way from getting the best that we want for ourselves.
Right.
And so in that vein, my question to you is what are we talking about today?
Triggers.
Triggers. Okay, so tell me what kind of triggers, what are we looking at when it comes to triggers? What do you mean by triggers?
Some examples of triggers are when someone uses a certain tone of voice, or if someone calls you a certain name,
Mm.
someone snatches money from you. Let's say uh, one trigger I know um, is when a person, when someone told me this, that when they hand money to a clerk and that clerk puts the change
On the
down
on the
on the
counter.
counter,
Oh, that bugs me.
it's a trigger. And sometimes it can be, um, let me think, you know, little things. It can be something that you experienced back when, and maybe you just had a bad experience with it. And the person who has now triggered you has no clue
Mm.
that he or she triggered you.
So much, and that happens all the time. And if I was to wrap that up into like a pretty bow of a circle, I would call it we are triggered emotionally,
Right. And then it's how we cope.
right? And then we cope. So what comes first, the
The tr-
emotion or the behavior?
uh,
Do we act out,
is
then
it
we
the
start
chicken or the
feeling?
egg?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Do we
So,
act out and then we get triggered, or do we get
mm,
triggered and then we act out?
in this case, I think the trigger comes first.
Right. Emotionally, you have to feel that negativity. You have to feel that anger. You have to feel that frustration. And or not even that. Feel that guilt or feel that um that resistance or feel that negativity because there's so many of these emotional triggers. And I think we should spend some time, we're going to just start like identifying emotional triggers that people may deal with. And one that I have in mind that I know a lot of people deal with but don't talk about is this one called the imposter syndrome. So the imposter syndrome is when you have, like, let's say you got a job, you went to school and you graduated, and the degree that you graduated in, you got a job in, they're paying you well, they're expecting you to do a certain job. And let's say you're even doing it, maybe not perfectly, maybe you need help, you're just new, but for some reason you can't get over this feeling in the back of your mind that you're going to wake up one day and everybody going to realize you were a fraud, that yes, you went to school, but you really wasn't that smart. Or yes, you went to school, yes, you got this job, but you're really not capable. And we start telling ourselves that we are just faking it until we make it. What are your thoughts on that emotional trigger, the imposter syndrome?
That's a tough one. I think it can partly come from us being not as good as we think we should be, or maybe not as good as we want to be.
But I've seen people famous, and we have famous actors and actresses and famous people who have gone through this, who did a great job, who was loved by millions, and they suffered from depression. One recently in the last few years was the that foodie guy that would go through all of the different countries, and he ended up killing himself by suicide.
Can't think of his name.
Oh, I know his name. I can't think of his name.
It
But
wasn't. Was it Bourdain? No.
Hey,
Was
Bourdain.
it
I
Anthony?
think it was Bourdain.
Okay.
But yeah, so everyone thought like, man, he has the greatest job doing what he loves, and he, even though he was a little corny, he did a good job at it. Like, he was relatable. He I remember watching one episode where he was challenged to eat this gourmet food from another country that did not look appetizing at all, and he gave his facial expression was genuine. Like, I'm not taking another bite of that. I'm not gonna do it. I mean, he was just really relatable. In his travels and stuff like that, you could tell like he was just a real down to earth kind of guy. But he suffered from depression, and I can only imagine someone like that probably maybe felt like, hey, I'm not really who everybody thinks I am. I got a secret life, or I'm struggling, and I'm not that good of a person. Obviously, not valuable enough to live. And so he takes his life. See, things like that, those are examples of people who like are successful and still doubt themselves.
Right. But I think in those cases, and I wonder if you agree, isn't it often the person who feels that way and not necessarily a reflection of what the world feels about them?
100%. 100%. And so that's why it's so important for us to dive into these emotional triggers, because they may not be rational. They may not be rational, and we may be in our why. We may be really close to our why. We may be on the verge of a great why, but we will let an emotional trigger slow us down or derail us. So, like, here's another one that is an emotional trigger: false expectations.
See, I love expectation management. So
Right, right. Because, false expectations, that's when, you project on yourself expectations that are not based in reality.
I was going to say unrealistic expectations.
Unrealistic expectations. But how many of us do that? How many of us can't give ourselves a little grace?
A lot.
All the time. All the time. So what do we do with those irrational thoughts, those triggers we have, where when we're triggering ourselves, we're setting ourselves up by developing irrational, unrealistic expectations.
And that's part of, this series, discovering your why. That could be a why, like why you keep ending up in a certain spot. Maybe someone is setting unrealistic expectations of themselves and they need someone to help them realize that, hey, this is not realistic. And it's part of, why you and I got into this business, got
Right.
into this field,
Mm,
because we want to help them realize their goals and realize, when something is just unreasonable to expect. Because you can go into a field and you don't want to make mistakes. And I think, you and I have had this conversation where I would hold back because I didn't want to make a mistake.
Right.
And you would tell
Yes.
me, you gotta,
Make
you, and
gotta
when I
make
tell you
them.
what I wanted to say, you're like, okay, why didn't you say that? I
Yes.
don't want to make mistakes. And that's
Yes.
an unrealistic expectation that I'm never going to say the perfect thing. It's possible to say something that's not wrong,
Mhm.
but perhaps what I was going to say would have been better.
Because
But
we all want to say something great. You know, if I'm standing in front of 10,000 people, I want to say something prolific. But I'm okay if I don't.
as long as you don't say anything that's like blatantly wrong,
Even if I say something blatantly wrong, I can own it. I
you
can
can
own
own
it.
it. I'm just
I
saying
can
that
own it. I'm like, I was
there's a
that was wrong.
big space between blatantly wrong and prolific,
Right.
you know?
So okay. Now, granted, you don't want to purposely go out try to
No,
hurt
of
people
course not.
or look stupid. And you got to be careful not to put yourself in a position where you look stupid. You That's why you have a team of people around you, but don't be afraid to learn and speak your truth. Every great speaker I know started off on a very low circuit, or had to go to school, or had to be critiqued, or had to learn how to speak.
Absolutely.
I mean, some of our greatest speakers talked about how they struggled with speaking. you know,
Absolutely.
so I think we have to recognize we're human and we are not going to be perfect, but we can still give our best. Now, what about projected trauma? Projected trauma. That's another emotional trigger. People will project their own trauma to you. Don't you get into that relationship. All men are dogs.
Right. It's never going to work.
How many parents, how many women are teaching their daughters right now? All men are dogs.
Probably more than we care to admit.
Right. Or uh you can't do, how many times has a student told a teacher, I want to be an astronaut, or I want to be, a scientist, or I want to be a engineer, and they get that look, or believe it or not, that this encouragement saying,
Aim lower.
aim lower. That may be too high. That may not be realistic. Like, it's
A
realistic for
lot of people do
somebody.
that. And they think, those teachers may think that they're helping
Right.
by helping them to not have what we were just talking about, unrealistic expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
while it may be unrealistic for some, Mae Jemison, you think her teachers told her aim lower?
Right. I don't know. Probably. What do you think?
It's possible.
People get fueled off of stuff like that. You got two types of people: fight or flight. Some people hear that and they're gonna give in and just give up. Some people are gonna hear that and they're gonna say,
I'm
"Bring it
going to
on,
show you.
bring it
Let
on.
me show you.
I can show you better than I can tell you."
Right.
I've named a few. What are some emotional triggers that people struggle with?
Um, okay. I've heard this one. So someone can say, like if you have somebody who's in the store shopping, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they have someone following them around the store,
Okay.
right?
Mm.
Because that person may think you can't afford it, but the truth might be that I can't.
Discrimination.
Truth might be that I can't afford anything in here, but I'm gonna buy it anyway. I'm
Right.
gonna buy it anyway to
Right.
prove this person wrong.
Right.
But you're
So
triggered because someone told you you can't, or someone has said that you don't belong in this space.
right. Social ethnic discrimination. Yes, that can be an emotional trigger. And you know what? That is a devastating emotional trigger because it can be passed down generation to generation to generation. I know now my mom will say things that just don't apply to this situation in these days, but it was what she grew up with. She grew up where they had separate parks
Hmm.
for people of color and people of Caucasian descent. They had separate parks, and we can go. I'll take my kids to the park, and it'll be different races out there and so forth. And she's constantly like watching my daughter and making sure that she's dressed nice and is playing well and looks good and is being polite and being nice, which yeah, those things should be taught, but she's not doing it because of just politeness. She's doing it because she came from an era. She was exposed to an era where at any moment she could be a target.
Right.
Oh, when you become problematic, you could be a target.
And she
I
doesn't want that for
oh
her
I remember
grandchild.
one time we got stopped by the police. Now I'm completely legit. My license, registrations, and insurance are all up to date. And hers are too. She was driving my car, and the cop stopped us, and he was just asking normal conversations, but she was so on edge, and she was trying her best to convince the cops that she's a good person. The whole time, I'm a Christian, I go to church, I do this, I do that, I'm in the community, like, and I'm like, Mom, he doesn't care what you do. He's trying to get home. All he wants is your license and registration so he can meet his quota in tickets that he needs to write so that he can keep his job. Let him give you the ticket and let's keep going.
But it was bigger than that for her.
It was bigger than that for her. Emotionally, socially, and ethnically, it triggers her because she comes from a time period that was different. And then she projects that on her children and so forth. And it can go for generations.
Right.
Another trigger that a lot of people don't think about is what I call inferiority complex.
Mm. We're not good enough.
Inferiority complex. Oh, and another one, superiority complex.
I'm better than you.
I'm better than you. So some people can't get to their why because they have this superiority complex and they feel like they got to do it by themselves, or no one else can do it better than them. And this happens to a lot of us. It's not just some privileged wealthy person probably you thinking is going to have a superiority complex. But how many of you out there have started a business and you got to a point where you need help, and you hire help but still do the work that the help is supposed to do because nobody can do it
As
as
well
good
as
as
you
you.
can.
No one can do it as good as you. That is a superiority complex. You're emotionally triggered that if you let someone else handle your responsibilities, that it's going to fall apart. Now, what about inferiority? So that's the opposite. I'm not good enough.
Inferiority is I'm not good enough. I'm never going to be good enough.
Hmm.
And that's equally destructive.
What would be an example of an inferiority complex?
I don't deserve this promotion. I don't deserve the success I've had.
Right. You don't fight for success. How many of you out there have been at a job for years and you've only to watch younger, less inexperienced people get raises, get promotions, and you still stuck at what you came in with in 2010? I know I'm speaking to someone there.
And I mean, we must say that sometimes people do need to step up their game. Not everyone who's been passed over um, has an inferiority complex. So we can't make a blanket statement either.
Sure, but I'm talking about those people
Well, I had to
who,
say it for some people who
yeah, for
wasn't
some
saying.
people, yeah, but there are those who should have said something by now,
Yeah,
should
absolutely.
have advocated for themselves,
Or their work should have spoken for itself.
and it does. They are the team,
Right.
but don't get recognized for their contribution. It's just expected, almost. Uh, it's already a given, and no one expects less from you until you walk away. Until you about to leave, then all of a sudden, oh man, everything you do is critical. We can't lose you. But if you don't advocate for yourself, then that's the only tool you're going to have is to walk away.
That's true. But I feel like when we know that we've put forth, someone knows, look, I've given my all. And if that job, back to the inferiority complex, that person knows that he or she has put forth 100% effort. That person knows that when he or she goes to work, that they perform up here,
Mm-hmm.
right? But they accept less because they think less of themselves. That's where that inferiority complex comes in. It's they're performing at an A, but they're graded at a C,
Right.
and they think they deserve it.
What about those people who get emotionally triggered and get angry? You ever met that person? They
Just
just look like
mad,
they have anger written on their forehead.
just mad all the time.
Just mad. And not even mad, but like they are ready to pop off. I've seen some people, they can be having a good day, but you just know in their spirit, they ready to pop off at any given time. You say the wrong thing and they are ready to go. Call them hot tempered.
Hmm. What's the other word? Um, think of it. But yeah,
Hmm.
we've all met at least one of them.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And you can
Just
feel
ready
it.
to fight, ready
You
to
can
fight.
feel it. Always intense. It's always those intense people. Why are you so tense?
Have a good day. No, you have a good day.
Right.
Don't tell
Yeah.
me to have a good day.
Everything they say is just tense. They got their teeth grit. They grinding their teeth and they shake your hand so hard. Like, I like having fun. I'm gonna be honest. As a therapist, I like having fun with people like that. I do because I look him in the eye and I talk to him, and I know they trying not to get triggered, and I'll just talk to them. I'll be so happy. I'll do like happy things around them.
Or they're trying to stay mad.
Yeah, see now that's another thing. It's one thing where you trying to you get triggered to be angry easily, but it's another when you just like staying mad. You got to find a reason to be upset. I got a sister like that.
Stop
I do. I do. I love you. I love you, but you know who you are. Oh man, I be getting with her too, because I go to her house, we'll make a date, a time to come over, and I'll be on time, but she'll be so angry. And I walk up, I'm like, you must have thought I wasn't gonna come. How many times in your head did you think I was gonna not come? It's like 20. I was like, you know,
None of my siblings are like
oh, they're all nice and kind. How
that.
many
Yep,
siblings you have?
a bunch.
Well, I see you lying then, because
I'm
ain't no way you
lying.
get into a whole family. Ain't nobody fighting.
If they were, I wouldn't put them on blast. That's my point.
Oh, you keeping it quiet. See, I keep it real. She keep it quiet. All
Just
right.
saying.
Emotional triggers though. What's another emotional trigger that we face?
Um,
There's so many of them.
what about coping? How we cope with those triggers?
Okay. All right. So, how do we cope with being inferior
So
or
what would you do
superior?
if you're at the register and you handed the clerk cash and the clerk put it down on the counter?
I'd
How
look
do you
at her.
respond?
I would stand right there in the line, look at her with my hand open, with a smile on my face.
And what if and does
That's
she
it.
always put it in your hand
Oh
then?
yeah, because she gets uncomfortable. You know how uncomfortable it is to look someone in the eye with your hand out, and and there's a line behind you, and I'm daring you to say, what do you need? Because I'm gonna say my money. She'll be like, I didn't hand it to you that way. Why you hand it to me that way?
Okay. And that's what you do all the time?
When, when,
Well, if it happens,
when it happens, when I'm in the spirit, you know, sometimes
sometimes it's
I don't
not.
have the bandwidth to try to help people correct their behavior, but sometimes I do, and I will work on behavior all the time, and I'll exaggerate it. I remember one time I was at Publix. You
Okay.
know, Publix is a really nice place. You know, they're real friendly.
Customer service with a
Customer
smile.
service is A plus plus, but on this particular day, it was a D. So I was younger. I was a teenager. I was working, and I went to go cash my check at Publix,
Okay.
and I'm not even thinking about it. It was a $75 check. A $75 check. And the lady she looked me up and down and she was like, I think you stole this check. I'm like, what? Like, I'm in the middle. I'm like, how in the world can I steal a check? Like, what would how do you even steal a check? What would I go through to steal a check? And I gave her my ID. I'm like, hey, here's my ID. You know what I mean? Like, can you look? You can look at my ID. It's legit. You know what I mean? And my name, my ID, they all match up. I'm just trying to cash $75 so I can, go out tonight, take my girl out tonight. You know what I mean? I'm like 18 years old. I'm trying to put gas in my car and go out on a date. That's all I want to do. And she's like, "You stole, you stole this check." So I'm like, "Okay, get your manager." And she brought the manager out there and she's like telling the manager, and the manager's backing her up. Like, we can refuse to cash checks from anybody in the public. And I'm just like, and I could have left. But anytime you accuse me of something negative, and I know I'm in the right, you gonna have to prove it. And I'm like, absolutely not. I'm like, no. I'm like, prove to me that this check is a fake check. Like, if it's a fake check, call the cops. I said that. I'm like, please call the cop. If you think this is a fake check, please call the cops. Like, we don't have to do that. We could just refuse whatever. I'm like, no, 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 no. I'm exaggerating. I'm like, you are scolding my good name. You are making me feel like a criminal. Come on now. You call the police. Let them verify that this is a fake ID and this check is fraudulent. Please, they can check the bank. You can call the bank. Let's please do this because I don't want to carry a fake check. If this looks like a fake check, I don't want to be in trouble. So
Let's
I'm
take care of it.
exaggerating.
Right.
Oh, I'm exaggerating all day long. They cash my check.
Did they flag you so you could never
they
come in there
cash
again?
they cash that mug so fast. Oh, I ain't never go back there again. But I know how I'll make you feel uncomfortable. I will make you want to be stupid, you want to be ignorant, you want to be prejudiced. I'm gonna make you feel really uncomfortable. But in a good way, a polite way. Don't go try that with the cops because you might get shot. For those out there in the chat world. But that's when I make you feel uncomfortable. I ask you questions. You come to me all angry, yelling, "Why you blah 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 blah?" I did what? How did it make you feel? You think I could do something like that? Show me what I did. How'd I say it? Show me how I said it. I said it like I'm playing. And in my head, I'm laughing. I'm laughing because I'm like, you look real silly right now being angry. And then they catch on and then they laugh too. So most of the time.
Oh, you must be real fun.
Oh, I am. Like when I got the bandwidth, I'll make you see yourself real quick.
But when you don't, it's like not worth it.
Yeah, I blow my breath and just walk away. Cause like I'll give you another one. I'm a big guy. I ain't no hiding about it. One, I want to be healthier. I know. So you don't have to put nothing in the chat unless you got good food recipes that are healthy. I'm looking for those. But I remember one day my brother called me, who by the way is big himself, and he's like, "Jay, I'm worried about you." I'm like, "You are?" He was like, "Yeah." He was like, man, you need to lose weight. I'm like, duh. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's what you're worried. You're like, yeah, man, I'm worried about your health. I'm like, man, if you're so worried, man, I appreciate it. I tell you what, let's wake up 5 o'clock in the morning. Each morning, you call me, I call you, and let's get on the phone because he's in another state. Let's walk and let's hold each other accountable, and so forth. And he quickly was like, "Yeah, I'm not trying to do all that. I just want to let you know that I'm worried about you." And I was just like, if you're gonna invest in me. Don't call me to tell me something I already know. Like, give me a solution. Don't give me a problem. I got plenty of those. I need a solution. So yeah, I'll turn it on people real quick.
I
Why are you
can
laughing?
because you're John.
How would you handle those triggers? How do you handle emotional triggers?
It depends on what the trigger is, but give me a for example. I'm really good on it.
All right, so let's say someone misunderstood you and blew something you say out of proportion, and they had other people thinking something different that wasn't true about you.
Well, it depends. So if the person just if the person didn't come to me,
Nah, they didn't come to you, but they went to everybody else though.
I might try, might again if I have the bandwidth, I might go to the person and say, I think maybe I didn't make myself clear, instead of saying, I think you misunderstood, because that puts the onus on them. So I have to take responsibility. Say, I think maybe I wasn't clear in my intent. And I'm very intentional about that. I try very hard to think about what's going to come out of my mouth, because once you say something, you can't unsay it, and the other person can't unhear it.
Right.
So I'm very intentional about the words I use.
Right.
So if someone says that, or they misunderstood, no, if I did not clearly communicate so they understood my intent, then I'll go to the person and apologize in a way. Now, if they come back with bad energy,
yeah, that's what I was about to say. What if they don't want to hear what you have to say?
Then at a point, I just walk away, because you don't want to hear what I have to say. Clearly, you want to be mad, right? That's that person who wants to be mad. So then be mad.
Or that person wants to hurt you.
Because if I've already come to you and I've said I wasn't clear, I don't think I was clear.
Right.
in what I meant or my and what I intended
Right.
for you to take away from the conversation or my
Yeah.
actions.
Yep.
And I honestly do try to do that. But I am human and I can match energy. I just try not to.
What do you do about those people who just want to apply pain, want to hurt you, want to see you hurt? They know they're hurting you.
Um, Again, it kind of depends. I usually, in that case, I won't match energy
Yeah.
because it's not going to go anywhere good.
Right.
I can't, I mean, I'm human. I don't want to, I could say that, I can't, try to help people and then do things that hurt people. I
Mhm.
could say that because I am human, but I really try not to.
Right.
If someone is out to hurt me, then sometimes it's best to just walk away.
Yeah, I think about when I'm at work. I used before I open up my own practice. Um, there's always someone that's not going to like you, and there's been organizations I work for, and there's always that one person for no apparent reason. I'm such a lovable person. I'm a big teddy bear,
I know.
but there's always that one person who just got a stick up there. You know what I mean? Just I don't know what it is, but they seem out to get you like you just an easy target. And so I remember, okay, one of my first professional jobs, I was a residential care facility person. So I was a child care supervisor. Now I'm fresh out of college, and I was given a supervisory job. I had 12 staff and like 50 kids that I was responsible for. The lady that had my job was demoted and put under me for only one reason. She didn't have a degree. She did the job well, she was doing the job, but the position had to be a degreed person. So they had to let her go according to state bylaws and whatever. They had to let her put her under me and made me the supervisor. And so I'm fresh out of college. I'm wet behind you. I don't know no better. But you can understand that this person hated me. Like all her anger was pointed towards me, and I couldn't do nothing right. She just wanted to apply pain. And every time I would have a staff meeting or try to make a rule or try to organize a schedule, she would have something to say. She tried to make me look bad as I possibly could be. And I used to get mad. I remember one day I went to the director of the program and I was like, either I'm going or she's going. One of us got to go. You choose. And he was like, well, let me help you pack your stuff. Oh man, because I thought I was irreplaceable. I was like, I'm the only one that got a degree. She
Oh,
can't do
you
it.
were wet behind the ears.
She was like, yeah, I was. She was like, let me help you pack. But he did it in love. He was like, everything she telling you is right. It's just not packaged in a way that you can accept it. But people who don't like you are more likely to tell you the truth than people who care about you. People who care about you are sugarcoated. People who don't like you, they try to find the truest thing they possibly can say because they want it to hurt. And he was like, most of the things she's telling you are true, things you need to work on. That changed my whole perspective.
Did you stay?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Matter of fact, not only did I stay, every time she came to a staff meeting, I was taking notes. This is wrong. That's wrong. This wrong. That wrong. And if it was in my power to change it, boom, 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 boom. I'm asking questions. Instead of trying to defend myself, I'm asking questions now. Oh yeah, why is it wrong? What makes it wrong? Help me understand the science behind it. Like I'm asking detailed questions. After a while, she stopped coming to my staff meetings, and I'm like, "Hey, I need you at my staff meetings. What's wrong? Where you at? Come on." She was like, "Nah, you don't need me no more." I'm like, "Yes, I do. I'm like, I value your opinion. Come. Before she left, she was like, I know we got started off on a bad foot, but you're one of the best bosses I ever worked for. I think that's how we have to approach it, man. We got to turn people around who are out to get us. We got to make. Someone told me, a wise person told me, if a person's willing to put energy into you, make the investment pay off. If you gonna put energy into me, even if it's negative energy, I'm gonna make it pay off.
I try. I mean, it took me a minute, but I try when someone says something about me or something negative or you did this wrong or the first thing I do is try to look at myself and see how I could have done something better or
Right.
done it differently. Or I call people who I know are not there to, you know, sugarcoat anything. And they'll let me know, well, yeah, you should have done this.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody who's going to think or who's going to tell me that everything that I do is right. I need
It's
someone who's going to
roses.
tell me,
Yeah.
because I know I'm not anywhere near perfect. So when
Hmm.
someone comes to me or I hear something, in a roundabout way, I try to say, okay, how else could I have done? So
For sure.
that's how we got to, where I am, where I try to think about what I say
Right.
before I say.
Right. And that's so important that I use a word called pliable. We have to be pliable.
Absolutely.
You can't let one emotion hold you down. You want to be in control of your emotions, so you can't let your emotions have so much weight in your choices and your behavior. Yes, it's important to have emotions to kind of let you know what's going on in your environment and maybe how you should feel, but you have to be able to pivot those emotions and not let them control you. You want to be able to make adjustments on the fly. And so I always tell myself, I can't give no person or thing power over me. I can't give no person or thing power over me because I have to be held accountable for my choices. I can't go and blame my choices on other people's behaviors.
And that requires that we're self aware, though.
Very much so. Self aware. Now, it helps when you have a mission in mind, when you know where you're going. I'll give you a great example. When I was in college, I was a server and I was good at it. Like, man, I made some money. I had some regulars come in. I was good at I did a good job. I was real good at remembering what people want
Mhm.
and knowing what they want before they ask for it. I was real good at knowing what someone wanted before they asked for it. You come sit at my table one time, and every time you come back, I know I can remember when you like your drinks, if you like your drinks, if you want your hot rolls, how you want your food. Like I know what you want, and I was good at it, which in return turned out to be some really good tips. Now, the restaurant I worked at, I'm a college student. So for me, it was fun. I would make it fun. If I made a good day of money, that's good. If I had a bad day, it was okay.
Mhm.
But for those waitresses or servers who this was their living, like this is how they made their money to
Right.
take care of themselves, it was a big deal. They had a bad day. They had a bad day and they would react to that bad day differently. In those times, I had bad days. I would have customers stiff me. I would have people run out, dine and dash. Don't do that. That
Mm.
hurts the server so much.
Absolutely.
I would have all kinds of different things that would set me back as a server. But I'll keep reminding myself, this ain't my end goal. I'm a college student.
A
Like
stepping stone.
like this is not even a bleep on the radar. This is something to pass the time, pay my little bills so that I can get to a better place. And when I would have that mentality, nothing really could get me down because I had the goal in mind of what I was doing here. I'm good because this doesn't stop my goal of finishing college, having a bad day. And so I would just encourage people to have a goal in mind at all times of where you're going so that you can keep good perspective and not catastrophize. I like that word.
Catastrophize.
Catastrophize everything. What are your thoughts on that?
That's something that happens a lot. I remember being a kid and my mom worked, she worked a lot of hours. And this was before cell phones,
Mm,
before any of that, right?
right, right.
So my mom's not home by 7 o'clock. Oh my gosh, she got in a car accident. The car rolled over, she's in the ditch. So when she got home at 9 o'clock, because she's working overtime to help provide for us, right?
Right.
I'm like, whew, she made it. But in
Hmm.
my mind, I mean, I catastrophized before I knew it was a thing.
Right. And it happens, man. Um,
That's
I
one
remember.
another one of those triggers, though. People
Right.
who like, if let's say, um, we won't name anybody, but like, you've texted somebody and they don't text back, and oh my gosh, he's sick, he died.
Right. What's wrong? You remember the days you would call the hospital to see if anybody
If there was an
came. There
accident,
was an
if there was,
accident.
yes,
Anybody
yes,
came in. You call around. If you haven't seen someone for a long period of time,
yes.
and you get mad, livid when they walk to the door. Like you could have,
You could have
you
been
could have
dead,
called. You could have did
or
anything.
hear me out, my battery could have died, or something
Right.
reasonable
But
could have
like
happened.
you always close to a payphone. I'm talking about before cell phones.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you always close to a
I'm saying car
payphone.
battery died. Something
Hmm.
happened where I couldn't get to you.
Yeah.
But no, yeah.
Or we would tell ourselves something better have happened. You walk in this house,
It
this
better
way,
not. I know good and
some
well.
better have happened for sure. So we got to be careful about our emotional triggers, because they can get in the way of our why. We can even know our why. We can be on our way to our why, and our emotional triggers will trip us up.
So we have to be aware, though, self-aware.
Okay, so let's leave the audience with uh, a couple of tools I guess they can leave with to be self-aware. How do you become self-aware?
Know your inner voice.
Oh, I love that. Know your inner voice. Yeah, listen to that small voice. You know what I mean? I got you. Um, pass the snuff test. Make sure what you think is speak what you're thinking out loud and make sure it makes sense. Sometimes we're carrying a record in our head that don't make no sense to nobody outside but us. And sometimes if you just say it out loud, it will put you in check.
Know someone, or have someone you trust enough to run it by.
Oh, I love that.
Be
Yes.
a sounding board.
Yes. We call what do we call those? Confidence uh
Confidants.
confidants. Some confidants. Okay, one more for me. Be okay with making corrections. Don't be so hard on yourself. I'll let you have the last one.
No, you said one more for you.
For me. Now one more for you.
What John said.
You got out of that one easy. All right, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe. We're jumping on this thing. We're doing it. We really want to give good information to the world to the best of our abilities so that we can make the world a better place. and have healthier people.
And
Let's-
next week,
Next week. Oh yeah. What's the next week?
we're going to talk more about the inner voice next.
Inner voice. Yes.
Self-talk and
Self-talk.
inner narrative.
Yes, inner voice. Because that thing can be either an ally or an enemy.
Absolutely.
Your inner voice can be an ally or an enemy. We need to make it an ally. We can
Make sure it is an
superhuman.
ally.
Yeah.
And if it's an enemy, we need to fix that.
we can make it superhuman, or it could be a evil villain. Yeah, that's what I meant. Or a villain. All right, guys. We'll see you next week, same time. Talk to you soon.